say this out loud. You absolutely have to say this out loud. You absolutely have to stay engaged civically and understand where that funding's coming from and understand the process and who can really speak on your behalf. I'm a union member. I know CTA is the most powerful force, political force in the state of California. And if you want to fix those funding issues, you let them know. You let them know that Murrieta is getting left behind. And that's not okay for our kids, it's not okay for our community, it's not okay for our teachers. And you gotta let your voice be heard. I wish I had the power to fix all of those things. The infrastructure, the buildings, the old, they were talking about the Wi-Fi issues and all kinds of things. We have lots and lots of needs. But the state of California could surely help us a lot in that area. It was also neat to hear them talk about Red Ribbon Week, and I just have to say this out loud. I think Red Ribbon Week is something we really need to focus on with kids. The kids get so excited to see the older kids come and visit them. And I really always try to emphasize to my high school kids, you're a role model whether you know it or not. There are little kids who look up to you because you've figured it out. Whatever your niche is, you have figured it out and you walk around confidently and you're someone they're in awe of. And so it's really important for you to be that role model, to come out and see those young kids, to interact with them and give them that positive. So I'm really hopeful that Red Ribbon Week looks great for our district. The last one was Murrieta Valley High School. I got to meet with Coach Brian Weathers, and we talked about the BSU there. I got to go to APAC as well. I heard about the STEP team. I was trying to figure out if MV is going to have a STEP team as well. I know those get pretty competitive. It was really cool to hear all the BSU representatives talk about their club and all the different things that they're involved in. Like I said earlier in the meeting, some leadership skills and seeing these young people, public speaking, and APAC was so well attended. So many parents that were really engaged, quite a lively discussion about various topics, but it was really great. Anyway, that's all for me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Mrs. Young.
Okay, now that I'm last, a lot of the stuff has been mentioned. I maybe have a different angle.
We saved the best for last.
That play that Linda brought up, excellent. I went in not really knowing what it was about, and I'm glad I did it that way. It's an original script, and I personally think it belongs on Broadway, which I told them. So I highly recommend people go see it. Okay, so I want to congratulate the Murrieta, Vista Murrieta. Is my mic not on? Okay. I want to congratulate the Vista Murrieta band for that win in Arizona. Okay, so I went to Abaha Elementary. Mrs. Toon invited me to her 4th grade class. She invited several other people too. They had a rock and roll themed day. When I went in, they were working on math. They were practicing rounding up numbers to the nearest 10,000. They were working in groups, and every time they came up with their answers, they checked it with her and went back for another set. They were wearing cool sunglasses with a rock and roll theme. They were really very enthusiastic. And parents put together gifts, so they had gift bags they were going to get at the end. I was also at the Employees of the Year Awards ceremony at Dorothy McElhaney Middle School, and I just think it's so important to recognize these hardworking employees. I know that people in education know how hard people work. I don't always see that other people can see that, or some other people can't see that, but people really give up a lot of their personal time, their personal money. They pour their hearts into it. And what was even nicer for me, a couple of good friends of mine got Employee of the Year recognition. So I enjoyed being able to thank them in person. I went to 2 Rotary Club meetings. I went to a Vocational Services Committee meeting. That is really for the district. And I went to a regular meeting, and I know Linda already, I know she's heavily involved with the Rotary Club, but it is a public service organization, and they really do a lot for the schools. Some of the things they're going to do, they're going to send some 7th grade students to a leadership camp. They pay for everything, an overnight camp. They call it Pride Camp, and they're going to do the same thing for some 11th grade students in the spring. They have a different guest speaker every week. This week they had Dr. Marcus Copeland, and I don't know if everybody's aware, but Murrieta Hot Springs are really mineral springs. And they've been closed to the public for decades after a Bible college bought it and the public lost access, but they've sold it. So this wellness group is developing it, and it's going to be open to the public again. So I'm pretty excited about it. I was very skeptical about hot springs. I lived in Europe for years. It's really popular there until I actually did it. So just try it. It's not the same as sitting in a jacuzzi. Anyway, it's supposed to be open sometime after New Year's in the or late winter, early spring. So I was also at the APAC meeting, and I was impressed with the speakers. There were speakers from two of the BSU clubs. The third group, they had some kind of conflict. They have all kinds of activities to support students and their families, academically, culturally, and emotionally. I really appreciated hearing what Vice Principal John Broussard had to say. He talked about social and emotional learning. So, yeah, I think it's something that it gets miscategorized, but it's really about having self-awareness and being able to regulate one's emotions, having social skills and empathy. And I think we all want that for our kids. It helps you function in school. It helps you function in the workplace, down the road, have social skills. He also read a book that I want to read and read one of his poems to us. Anyway, they also talked about ELOP. I know that's come up tonight. I can mention some of the other details. We're still relatively early in the school year. There are already 70 teacher-led classes. And some of the stuff being offered, basketball, flag football, soccer, Spanish, chess, dance, drama, and they are doing tutoring. And I do think ELOP is very necessary and important. The reality is most people work, and people need a safe and productive place for their kids to be in those hours. School ends before people get off work, and it's safe. And I do support the sports and everything because these kids are sitting most of the day, and these elementary kids need to move. Okay. So I am a volunteer for Santa Rosa Plateau. It is connected to the district. They had a Cowboy Jubilee fundraiser a couple weeks ago that I volunteered at. Basically, they raised thousands of dollars, and they used the money mainly to pay for their third grade program. They actually pay for the buses for groups of third graders to come to the plateau. So I think Murrieta teachers are probably aware of this. It's a good idea to apply for it early in the year. I heard they had a couple of cancellations, so there might be some space open. I'm also in training to be a docent for that. I also went to the United Sports event at Murrieta Mesa High School. They were doing basketball. And I also talked to the people from Poway. I actually grew up in Poway. So yeah, that was really interesting for me. It's not that big of a city, but it is a big district because they have parts of San Diego in it. They actually have 6 comprehensive high schools there. Yeah, because they have Penasquitos. But yeah, I lived there through 6th grade. So anyway, but yeah, it's quite a compliment to this area that they're wanting to duplicate it there. And I'm just a big fan of unified sports. These kids need access to the same opportunities as everyone else, and a lot of regular ed kids are helping them out, and it might be helping them even more. Okay, and I was also at the Equity Conference. There were about probably 50 staff from this district. I thought it was tremendously beneficial, the sessions that I got to go to, and also just being able to get to know more of the Murrieta staff. So I really appreciated being able to do that. And yeah, thanks for the extra info about the Field of Honors. I'm from a military family, and I want to buy a flag for my father. So I'm going to do that. So anyway, that's all I have.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from Mrs. Shevlin, President of the Murrieta Educational, the teachers.
Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Oh, good evening, members of the board, Dr. Andrus, and our guests. As we step into the crisp and vibrant days of October, I am filled with a sense of renewal and purpose. Just as the autumn leaves transform, so do our opportunities to shape the future of education. As an association leader, I am inspired by our educators' unwavering commitment to excellence in education. Their dedication and resilience, particularly during challenging times, remind me of the profound influence we possess as educators. In late September, MEA sent 2 teacher representatives to the Riverside County Office of Education Excellence and Equity Conference. Our representatives were Pam Guzman and Alexandra Shores, both from Ehel Curran Elementary School. They explored specific tools to support systems, structures, and practices that will strengthen our district and school sites as we move toward equity. On September 18th, I was thrilled to participate in observing the MVUSD District Teacher of the Year decision process. At the elementary level, I saw solid instruction in phonemic awareness and remediation in math. At the middle school, one class was an exciting hands-on science lab exploring the composition of molecules, and the other was a Socratic circle on the book The Outsiders, which I had done a long, long time ago. At our high schools, I saw some very talented student photographers and participated in finding letters in the natural environment that they were going to be photographing. Additionally, I observed 2 advanced level high school English classes where the students were engaged in high-level discussions. All of these teachers were nominated by their peers to be Site Teacher of the Year and completed a district essay and observation. Each of the teachers I observed could represent Murrieta well as the District Teacher of the Year. On Monday of this week, there was a lovely celebration for all of the MVUSD Employees of the Year, and the 3 District Teachers of the Year were announced. They are Amy Batcher from Dorothy McElhaney Middle School, Sarah Hogan from Shavela Middle School, and Lindsay Ricketts from Vista Murrieta High School. Last weekend, 8 Marietta teachers attended a CTA special education conference called Meeting the Challenges of Inclusion. One of our teachers, Mr. Torrey Wadlington of Rail Ranch and Marietta Elementary Schools, presented a session called Breaking Down Barriers to Better Connect with Students. During his session, Torrey used a Nearpod lesson in technology to do a quick check-in on the session participants. He then went on to explain how to use this technology for a quick check-in with students, allowing the teacher to gather insight into what might be happening in the student's life that could be impacting their learning. Using a Menti poll, another type of technology, he described how educators can make authentic connections to students. He utilized the example of bullying and how by creating this culture in his classroom, the students then take the accountability to regulate themselves. In his class, he uses student journaling and allows students an opportunity to express how they are feeling on a particular day and why. He touched on the science of mirror neurons that trigger an empathic response like yawning, explaining that this is why students are connected to the vibe of a particular classroom. MEA is proud to have one of our own presenting. Tori did a fantastic job representing the teachers of MVUSD. Yesterday, I attended the PTSF LCAP meeting. PTSF, I was reminded, stands for Partnership for Thriving Students and Families. This umbrella group facilitates streamlining information to and collaborates on efforts with district-level parent advisory groups. It was gratifying to see this boardroom full of participants eager to discuss, identify, and conquer barriers to student learning. Marietta's students deserve the best education possible, and that happens when we keep students and their families at the center of our efforts. To all of our teachers, thank you for your unwavering dedication to our profession. Together, we will inspire, empower, and educate the next generation of leaders. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll hear from Freddie Mosquiz, President of CSBA.
Good evening, Board and Dr. Andrus. I also attended the celebration of the Employee of the Year, wonderful event. All were deserving, especially Cindy Vincent, our lead nutrition worker at Marietta Valley High School. So that was great to see. Next, you did hear from our couple of our aides today. So we will continue to work in a committee to find solutions for all concerns. Negotiations, we recently sent out a survey for our members. So once we get that back, we're hoping to have something ready for November's board meeting. And I need to take some tips from Ms. Shevlin and the students here. Thank you.
Thank you. Going to C, item C, a consent calendar. Consent calendar items are voted on collectively as a group. Upon board member request, items may be removed from the consent calendar for discussion and individual action. Do I have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar C1 through C7 as presented?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, passed 5-0. D, action information items. D1, the first reading of proposed revisions to board policy and administrative regulation BP/AR 5113, absences and excuses. Do board members have any comments or questions?
Well,
This is just a,
yeah, I think you're coming up with a solution looking for a problem. Dr. Andrus, did you say this has never happened?
Correct. So to our knowledge, students have not made a request for a confidential medical appointment be excused. It's it's a carve out in the law which gives discretion to a school if they feel there's an emergency type need. We've never had that happen before. The operative word in the law is may. So there's no requirement in the law that we shall provide an excused absence, just the word is may. And so what's proposed here and what was presented is that we wouldn't even, as faculty, or what would happen is that if a student were requesting to leave, we wouldn't excuse the absence. And so if they chose to leave campus or just not attend school one day, we wouldn't be part of that decision, and that would show up as an unexcused absence, and the parent would be notified either by way of, probably by way of an electronic notification they were absent. If a student were to present that, say, I'm going to leave for a doctor's appointment and I don't want anybody to know where I'm going, we would say, you can't just leave campus. You have to have your parents notice what it is. We'd then call a parent, because we have had situations where kids are upset about something, they walk off campus, but then someone's following them and they're monitoring them until a parent is able to come and pick them up. So this has not been an incident where we have been, and we has not been a demand. There are other parts of the state where I have firsthand knowledge where this type of, there are families and communities which are different than Murrieta. Let's just say that. And that where it kind of is almost a need. Here, I don't see the tremendous need for that. That this may be an adjustment where it wouldn't have a direct impact on the operation of schools.
And if a student misses a class, because as a teacher and a parent, I'm very aware of this. If a student misses a class, the parents get an automatic notification.
Correct.
If it's not something cleared.
Correct. So it would just pop up as as proposed, it would pop up as an unexcused absence, and our site administrators wouldn't be authorized to release a student without an excuse.
And also, I don't know if everybody understands, the schools are secure as far as people being able to go in, but you can't stop people from going out. They're not literally locked on campus. I think that's even not legal, but it wouldn't also not be safe in case, what if there was a fire or something? Correct. Okay.
Any other comments?
Well, yeah, because I was just thinking through this, actually trying to do this logistically. Teachers just mark someone absent if they call, if they go through roll call and someone's in there, they're just absent. They don't mark them unexcused or excused. They just mark them absent. And then that triggers and I've got right here, if you want to see it, I'll admit it, my daughter, triggers a text saying that your daughter has missed sixth period or was marked absent for sixth period on October 11th, just yesterday. Attendance at school is required and is critical for student success. Please contact the school at this number to resolve this absence. Well, I didn't contact the school, I contacted my daughter. And they'll say, where were you? And usually what this is, because my kids have been very active in school, very involved, and it's one teacher pulling them out to do something else, and there's a miscommunication between the teachers. That one teacher doesn't notify her regular teacher that she's not going to be in class. But it is immediately triggered that I get that text. She's not in class. So I know. And parents have access 24/7 to Aries for attendance. So even if an absence were, just go with me on this, if an absence were marked excused without a parent's permission, you have access to that, and you would see that, and you would go in and you would say, wait a second, why was she excused on Tuesday? Why is there an excused absence? And I don't know about this. I thought my kid was in class. So you can, as parents, we can access that 24/7. So there's no way for the school to hide absences, excused or unexcused. I did like all of the ARs. I mean, I think sometimes it's all overkill. In this situation, it's this, and in this situation, it's this. But I understand we have to go through all of that. And I think, why are we just focusing on you can't leave campus for medical stuff? I really think, and this would be my proposal maybe for some different language for that one section. I can't seem to open it up, I'm sorry, or I would read it out. To just say any child, and I'm using that word very specifically, any child under the age of 18 who wants to leave campus, their parents get called. And I don't care if it's they want to go across the street for a Starbucks, or if they're saying, I have a dentist appointment, or if they're saying, I want to go do this thing, whatever nefarious thing that people think all these students are doing, that they don't tell us about anyway. If a child wants to leave campus, the parents need to know. We can't physically restrain a child from leaving campus, but we can call the parents. We can have a security officer, an SRO, a counselor, or someone walk with them as they're going and be on the phone with us and with the parents to say, I'm headed down Whitewood, I'm almost to Taco Bell, so parents can get there and help with that. So I guess I would like to see some different language in there that just says any child attempting to leave campus who's under 18, because 18-year-olds by law can sign themselves out. Any child under 18 who wants to leave campus, we just call parents.
That actually isn't what this policy is about. The policy is pursuant to a state law, which says that school boards, at their prerogative, can have a policy where they will or will not excuse students for confidential medical services without their parents' consent. And so why we adopted this policy, I have no idea, because people in this community have collected over 600 signatures. Parents were shocked to find out that this was in writing as a policy in our district. And so I did some background reading on it, and the idea that if a child says, I'm leaving for a confidential medical service, the idea that in our district we have policies and practices in place where the parent would be able to find out is just not true. If that were the case, we would not be following the law, because the guidance which I read into, because they're termed confidential medical services, as a district, if we adopted this policy, we would not be able to tell the parents or let the parents know. We would have to kind of cover up for it. So, read the law and read the congressman who, when he introduced the legislation that made it so this had to be placed in our notification. I think it's on page 9 out of 30. And it's just kind of crazy to me that we're going to sit here and pretend like, nothing like this would ever happen in Murrieta. And, so we'll just leave it sit there like that, we'll go ahead and excuse kids for, whatever these confidential medical services are without parental consent. Why? Why would we have parents in that very insecure position of thinking, there is a reason, and it's stated in board policy, there is a reason that someone might excuse my child from campus without my knowledge or consent. So I don't know what the big deal is. This seems like a very simple fix. Any parent can understand why their school board's policy should protect their child and their family's decisions. I don't know what the big deal is, but.
Well, and what I was trying to finish saying was that we don't need to be in the business of excusing children for any reason. That's a parent's job. And, we shouldn't say, oh, well, a funeral's okay, but this isn't okay or anything. That's not our business. We should not be, this is my opinion, we should not be excusing absences for any reason unless the parent has contacted us to say that my child will be absent or was absent, and the parent can give us the reason that they want to have. And that's their decision. But I really think that if we could rework some of the language just to say children can't leave campus under 18 without parents' permission or without us calling the parents and trying to get the parent there. And we're not going to be writing excused absences for children. That's the family's business. That's not our business in any way to say this was an excused absence and this is not an excused absence.
Well, all this policy does is it clarifies the law, because the state law says that as a district, we may excuse them for confidential medical services without parental knowledge or consent. And all this policy is saying is, in our district, because we have this prerogative, even though state law allows us to do it, we will have a policy to not do that.
Just listening to the two, I don't think you're actually disagreeing.
I don't think we are either.
I think you're on the same page. I think what Ms. Lund is saying is we're suggesting an additional sentence somewhere that's saying parents should not excuse for any reason, but also include this part as well.
No, not parents should.
No, I'm sorry. Sorry if I misspoke.
Parents
It's
should
late.
excuse.
Parents should excuse. Not anyone else.
Yeah.
Correct.
I have a question. Would it be true or accurate that if a student wanted to, as many of the presenters spoke to, the law was intended to protect 12-year-olds to go get medical services without the parents' knowledge? That's how I read that law. Now, am I misreading
no,
it? Am I misunderstanding that?
That is how the law was written.
So,
And again, it's old. It's 1986.
so why would this policy that we're passing be considered not necessary?
Well,
I guess I'm out. Sorry.
we
I
have
think-
not had, to your point, we haven't had an experience where this has been presented to us.
What I'm getting at is,
Yeah.
as I'm listening to them speak to the issue, I think we don't want to wait for something like that
Correct.
to happen.
Yeah.
And that's the whole idea.
Right.
So that's why I was confused. It did sound like disagreement that was actually agreement, or
It
a
was-
misunderstanding of the law, one or the other. I don't know.
Can I? Okay. I don't think we need to limit it to confidential medical services that we can excuse kids for we should not be excusing kids without their parents' permission. And I just don't think we need to have the phrase confidential medical services in there. I think it's unnecessary, and I'm not comfortable with it.
Well, I think we need to have it there because that's the term that the law uses. And so we need to clarify that we're exercising our prerogative in this district to not do that. That's what the law says, confidential medical services.
Well, I guess I'm asking us to take it further.
Well, I mean, there's a whole list of things here. I mean, there are many things that are delineated. This is just
Bring
addressing.
it up for some reason.
Well,
At any rate, sorry.
we can, this is coming up in the next
Yes.
session, and we can vote, and if there is a feeling that it should be changed, we can do it at that point.
Can I ask that the staff work on some alternative, leaving this one in, but, sort of this paragraph or this paragraph?
You can present it, certainly.
So we'll take note of what's said, and if you have any additional comments or suggested language, be glad
Sure.
to take that and
Okay.
accept it, and then we can prepare for the next draft.
This language is already in use for sure in Poway Unified School District and Ramona. So, I mean, it's already been being used. It's established language. So I don't see a reason to go having the attorneys rewrite and.
I don't think this would require attorneys. We've had quite a few conversations among staff about how to address this. And so this is something I think it wouldn't take that long. It'd be a quick process.
Okay, well, we can solve it for sure next time with a presentation and
I'd actually,
motion to change the motion.
depending on how quickly we're able to respond to this, it's possible that we can provide the board an update draft for consideration and just to have that thought process going ahead of time. And then we can go from there at the next board meeting.
Well, that's fine. I think it's, I want to point out again that this language has been being distributed through our community for months now. And hundreds of people have already, the community has expressed their agreement with this wording. So, if we want to change the wording, I suppose we can consider that. But I mean, I can't even imagine any policy that we've considered so far where so many people in the community have already weighed in on it. But anyway, what you're saying is fine. We'll take a look at it. And,
I'd like to just weigh in really quick. I do think that parents are notified in almost every other circumstance. And that's why I'm just confused at why this is difficult. The number one issue, as we heard numerous speakers come up, and I think everybody has seen in the newspaper, for whatever reason, the state of California would like 12-year-olds to be able to chemically castrate themselves, to abort a child without speaking to a parent. And we're just saying as a board, we're not going to allow that on our time, and we're not going to hide that process from a parent
Right.
if that were to come up. Not if you wait until it comes up, it's a little late, and then we're opening ourselves up to lawsuits, as some of the folks had mentioned. So I think this makes a lot of sense. I think the way it's worded makes a lot of sense, and Every other absence is as has been stated, is covered. So I think we're fine.
Okay, well, any other comments? Hearing none, we'll move on to, let's see, where are we at? D2, approval of personnel report. We call for a motion.
No, it's a
No.
first reading.
First reading.
First reading, yeah.
So moved for the
Second.
personnel report.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. D3, public presentation of an opportunity for public comment on Marietta Educators Association's initial contract proposal to the Marietta Valley Unified School District for the 2024/25 school year. One public comment, and that is Lisa Murray. Hi, Lisa. Welcome.
Good evening, Dr. Andrus and members of the board. I stand before you tonight as the lead negotiator for Marietta Educators Association. It is an honor and a privilege to represent the dedicated educators who play a crucial role in shaping the future of our students. And by the way, we're educators because we don't include just teachers. We have speech and language pathologists, psychologists, and nurses also. As we gather here to commence negotiations, let us all remember the shared commitment we have to providing the best possible education for our children. Our educators are the heart and soul of our school district, and it is essential that we work together to ensure their well-being and the quality of education they can offer. The negotiation process is an opportunity to collaborate, communicate, and find common ground. In this spirit, I would like to introduce some of the opening articles that will guide our discussions in the coming weeks. Months, I should say. These articles
I wish it were
aim
weeks.
to address key areas of concern for our teachers, which ultimately contribute to the overall success of our students and the school district as a whole. That said, a few of the primary articles MEA has chosen to highlight this year are as follows. Salary and benefits, Articles 6 and 7. We recognize the need for fair and competitive compensation packages that reflect the dedication and hard work for our educators. Adequate, affordable benefits packages are crucial to attract and retain talented educators who will continue to inspire students. Article 8, contract hours and duties. Clarifying educators' contract hours and duties is crucial to ensure balance between instructional time and the responsibilities educators have outside the classroom. Article 10, leave provisions. We will discuss leave policies, especially bereavement and catastrophic leaves, to ensure our members have the support they need in times of personal and family-related challenges.
Article 11. Ooh. Nobody needs me to be that loud. Assignment transfer and filling of vacancies. Addressing the procedures for assignment, transfer, and filling of vacancies helps maintain transparency and fairness in the placement of teachers throughout the district. Article 12, class size. We aim to establish reasonable class size and caseload limits to create a conducive learning environment for our students and manageable workloads for our members. Article 18, workplace safety. The safety and well-being of our teachers and students are paramount. We will focus on workplace safety measures and protocols to create a more secure environment for all. We are committed to working in partnership with you to achieve the best outcomes for our members and, most importantly, our students. By addressing these issues, we can strengthen our education system and continue to be a beacon of excellence in our community. Thank you for your time, and I look forward, sort of, to the productive negotiations ahead.
Thank you. D5, adoption of Marietta Valley Unified School District's initial contract proposal.
Sorry, D4.
Oh, yeah, so it is. It's so much like
I know.
D3. D4, public presentation of an opportunity for public comment on Marietta Valley Unified School District's initial contract proposal to the Marietta Educators Association for the 2024-25 school year. Any comments for that?
No.
Thank you. Moving on to D5, adoption of Marietta Valley Unified School District's initial contract proposal to the Marietta Educators Association for the 2024-25 school year. This calls for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none. Passed 5-0. Okay, that's blah, blah. Item E, public comment regarding closed session items. Do we have any public comments?
We haven't had closed session yet.
No. Okay. So we move to, let's see. F. Yeah. Call for a motion and second to adjourn to closed session at 8:37 PM for items F1 and F2 listed on the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? None.
Okay.
I, Paul Diffley, hereby reconvene the Board of Education regular meeting in open session at 9:50 PM. Case number G1, student discipline, expulsion case number 2023-2024-121. May I have a motion, please?
Mr. Diffley, I move that the Board of Education of the Marietta Valley Unified School District expel the student for the violation of California Educational Code 48915C for the remainder of the current semester and for all of next semester of the 2023-2024 school year.
A second.
Motion's been moved and seconded. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. G2, student discipline, expulsion case number 2023-2024-122. I'll entertain a motion.
I move that the Board of Education of the Marietta Valley Unified School District expel the student for the violation of California Education Code 48915C for the remainder of the current semester and all of next semester of the 2023-2024 school year.
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded. Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. G3, student discipline, expulsion case number 2023. Let's see, sorry, hold on a second. Let me get out of this. Yeah. Move over here. Here. (2023) case number 2023-2024-123. A motion, please.
I move that the Board of Education of the Marietta Valley Unified School District expel the student for the violation of California Education Code 48915C for the remainder of the current semester and all of next semester of the 2023-2024 school year.
I second that.
Second, moved and seconded. All in favor? Sorry, wait a minute. Comments? Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. Motion carries 5-0. H, I call for a motion and second to adjourn the Board of Education meeting at, let's see, I'm going to put my glasses on. 9:55. 9:55.
So moved.
55.
Second.
Any comments? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None. Carries 5-0. Thank you all. Here. Need a pen?
Need a pen?